everyone, and welcome back to Slice of Tea. I'm Libby.
And I'm Shani, and you're listening to The Night Brew.
Ooh, yes. For this evening, our tea. Ooh, yeah. That was exciting. Perhaps a little bit over the top, but that's fine. Tonight, our tea for this evening is none other than a licorice tea.
Yes, licorice, muy bien. So, both me and Libby are not massive fans of licorice lollies or anything like this, but I personally love licorice tea. It has a different... It just hits differently.
Yeah. You're certainly not wrong. Ooh. It tastes like a potion.
Yes, which is very fitting for today's episode or today's topic, which is Harry Potter.
Which is Harry Potter. However, before we delve into our magical, mystical topic of Harry Potter, licorice tea tonight, we made it... We had an unbleached tea bag and we used a teapot tonight to pop it in our beautiful potion glasses. Now, it is, as you know, as Shani has said, it's very strong and it's that typical licorice taste that you get from the lolly. However, it's not as bad, I'd like to say.
I feel like when you have like a licorice lolly, obviously it's chewy. But it has this disgusting licorice taste. I don't know how to explain it.
I know exactly what you mean.
But this is like straight from like the licorice root itself. So straight from the actual plant.
Yep.
And it hasn't been like highly processed like those lollies are. So I feel like that's why I like the tea better, is because you're getting that authentic taste.
Yeah.
Instead of that artificial sugary poo. In my opinion, sorry.
No, well, the delightful thing with this, with the licorice tea that we have here, is that you actually don't need to add anything sweet to it, which is fantastic.
No, that's right.
Because of that nice taste.
It has like it does have like a second taste, like an aftertaste, which gives it that kind of sweetness. I don't know if that's for you, but definitely for me, when I first taste it, it has a different taste. Once I've like, it's been in my mouth or I've swallowed it, it then has a second taste. I'm sorry.
What are you like? But we've done a bit of research about our licorice tea. Are you okay?
Yes.
This is the laughing potion. Must be. I mean, thank God we didn't drink out of this little bottle here. Otherwise, either of us could be, I guess, a different person right
yes, and for those who are listening on Spotify, Libby actually has a polyjuice potion. I was reading it earlier down the bottom. I love how it says that it's like by Professor Slughorn. Did you see that?
Yes,
I love
yes.
that. Are you doing ASMR with a polyjuice potion?
I am. Who is it today?
Oh my goodness.
So thankfully, yes, we didn't take a sip out of this because I might become a cat or Shani might become a bat.
I mean, it low-key does look like Goblin's piss, doesn't it? But that's okay, because it's not really. Or is it? Oh, no.
I cry.
Not the wand.
I cry in wand. There we go. Pop it down.
Okay.
No, hi, I'm Bear Grylls, and today we're drinking licorice tea.
Oh, my God.
I'm not going to say the other word because... yeah.
Oh, dear.
But... in regards to our licorice tea, as I was saying earlier, there are a few like healing benefits to licorice tea.
Absolutely. It was used in ancient times, specifically Egypt. Egypt were definitely known for their natural remedies and tinctures and things like that. One of them in particular was licorice root. And based on our research, licorice tea in itself is actually an anti-inflammatory. Oh, wow. It also helps the
stomach lining, I believe. Yes.
Yeah, I feel like every time I want to go and say that, like the lining of the stomach of the lining. That's what...
The stomach of the lining.
But you get the point, and that's the main thing.
Yeah.
And it also eases digestion, which is awesome.
Fantastic.
So if you're not a fan of that peppermint tea taste, definitely try the licorice tea, because maybe you might like that better. So yeah, so that is also why I do like the licorice tea as well. So it's definitely very helpful in that sense. So it's not just about the flavour, it's also got other benefits to it as well, and not just sugary stuff. It's just natural.
Well, ease my mind and give me some closure here. I'm not going to turn into someone different, am I?
Definitely not. I mean, if I could recreate the polyjuice potion, I would have already done so. And I would not be Shani right now. I don't know who I'd be, but anyway.
Just be, all you need to be is yourself, because you are simply the best.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So are you.
Thank you. I try my best. Muy bien. So tonight, of course, you might be wondering, this one forgot her house robes again, unfortunately.
What?
Yes. A little birdie told me, one of my beautiful minions from Slytherin House has told me that this one has left her suitcase on platform 9 3/4.
What are you going to do? You know, like I couldn't go back. Otherwise, Mr. Filch would have been mad. And that evil cat would have came after me. Oh, dear.
Mr. Filch, you don't understand. You don't understand, Mr. Filch.
Oh, God.
Yes, but one of my lackeys, especially...
Students out of bed. Students in the corridor. Oh, my God. I'm going to rewatch that and be so embarrassed that I just...
No, but Mr. Malfoy has told me that you left your suitcase on platform 9 3/4, and that's why you're not in your house robes.
Yes, but I do think I have something that is actually even better than your perfectly authentic robe that you got from England. I've got my very own crest here, and for those who are listening on Spotify, I drew this wonderful little crest. It took me a good 20-25 minutes. There we go.
Ta-da! Oh my God.
I'm very proud of that, actually. So, who's the real Harry Potter Ian?
I'm sorry, is that a word?
It is now.
Word of the day is Harry Potterian.
I was going to be like Hogwartsian. Maybe that's a bit...
Hogwartsian, Harry Potterian. Well done.
Thank you.
This is 10 points to Ravenclaw.
English 101.
Well, this is why she's a Ravenclaw, because clearly, you know, you've got the ability to draw very well.
Oh, I think it'll be like, because you can't English.
I mean, but neither can I, so we're touche there.
Yeah.
Yes, so clearly I'm a Slytherin and this one's a Ravenclaw.
Yes.
And yes, no, I found out a very long time ago and I've been a Slytherin since.
Yes, unfortunately. I'm just kidding.
My father will hear about this.
All right, Malfoy. Anyway.
Fine.
So, Harry Potter.
Yes.
I guess what would be like our first encounters or ever hearing about Harry Potter, and yeah, what was your first encounter with that?
Well, my earliest memory of Harry Potter would have been, I was very young at the time, because the movie did come out in the first movie, The Philosopher's Stone, here in Australia. For the US viewers or anywhere else in the world who uses the Sorcerer's Stone, over here we had in the shops, there was these chocolate frogs. And I think you remember fondly, they came with a collectible lenticular card. So every time you flipped it back and forth, you'd get a different moving image, or like if it was Harry and Hagrid like walking down Diagon Alley. I still have those cards.
Same. And isn't that interesting? Those little things from your childhood, can you like really remember them now, or that they have like a little special place in your heart. With those cards, we collected so many of them, me, my brother and sister. But for some ridiculous idea, we thought it would be good to play hide and seek with them outside. And so we hid them in all these places outside. And then it started to rain. So we had lost quite a few of them. No. I still have like a bunch already at home. But it was just like... It was sad because it actually ruined them. So we had to throw them out. But yeah. Yeah,
but no, I definitely resonate well with the cards. Like... I got so excited every time, you know, we got like these cards. I remember even going to Toys R Us when Toys R Us was here, and like just the toy aisles were chock filled of Harry Potter.
Definitely.
And, you know, nowadays you don't really see much of that at all.
No, and I guess it's not, like, it's still very big, but it's not as big when it first came out. Because if memory serves me correctly, I think the first movie came out in 2001, and so how old did I say that we were? We were 4 years old, I think, when that came out. Yeah, I remember because Mum told me that when she first got the book, she read it to both me, my brother, and sister, but my attention span did not exist, so I wasn't interested, and I don't really like books. I never really have been a massive fan of books. But my brother absolutely loved it, and my mum would read it to him all the time. So Dalton was about 6 7, 8.
Yeah.
8 then. And it's the first time that I ever really remember anything as waiting in line for the movie premiere or whatever it was here. I just remember this massive long line that people wanted to get into watching Harry Potter. I don't know if it was the first one, the second one though, because I was still quite young, but that experience in itself. But I kind of feel like I've really come to love it even more so as I've grown up because of how young we were. I mean, still definitely loved it, but now that I understand it more, because for the longest time, because I didn't read the books, I'm only probably starting to read them now. I finished the first one, I'm on to the second one, probably halfway through the second one. But because reading is not my strongest suit and I'm not really a massive fan of it, but my brother read all the books, and so I'd ask him questions, certain questions. I don't want to like spoil anything because I know there are some people who haven't seen Harry Potter. So I guess spoiler alert as it is, because I even have a coworker who hasn't dabbled in Harry Potter. So if you haven't seen it and you do really want to see it, maybe don't listen to what I'm about to say. But the one question is why?
Spoiler.
Yeah. Why did Voldemort specifically kill Harry Potter's parents? And it was due to the fact with the prophecy that it was him and Neville. Who was a student, and I had to search this up, and I know I should have read the books, but my brother was like, I'm not going to tell you until you read the books, and I was like, but fam, I don't read, like I don't comprende with books. No, but I understand he wanted me to have the same experience and the same love for it, and I do now understand how much is missed in the books as opposed to the movies.
Well, it's funny that you should actually say like your brother and sister, because funnily enough that also you mentioned that I've been to England, because I have been to England on an occasion of times. Shout out to the English fam. Hello. My only family member who is a Slytherin like me is Jack, my cousin in England. G'day. My mum is a Ravenclaw. My brother is a Ravenclaw. And then I'm a Slytherin. And I'm like, well, what is going on? And still, I'm so very, very, very
surrounded
proud.
by beautiful Ravenclaws.
How dare you? The only member of my family in Slytherin is my cousin over in England.
Right.
The rest of them are either Gryffindors or Hufflepuffs. And I'm like, what? Unbelievable.
Yes. Earlier you mentioned also that it was the Philosopher's Stone in Australia, and as far as I know for the UK, and then it was the Sorcerer's Stone
in the US.
And I didn't know that until later, but what I found really interesting is those who have ever watched it on normal TV, there's actually there's two different versions, hence one the Sorcerer's Stone and one the Philosopher's. Sorry, just
Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.
Yes, and the one that they usually played on the TV was the Sorcerer's Stone version. And how you know is there's actually certain scenes that are not in the Sorcerer's Stone. One in particular was when Harry, in the first one, when he was getting all that mail to be accepted into Hogwarts, and they weren't opening it, and they kept like trying to get rid of the letters. Aunt Petunia was cracking open some eggs, and in the egg was the letter. She'd crack open another one. There's another letter. You don't actually see that in the Australian version.
Right.
And then another one is when Hagrid goes to that house on the island towards the beginning. Well, I don't know what that's called. Yeah. The shack area. And
it's not the Shrieking Shack. No.
And then Harry like writes on the freaking sand or the dust like happy birthday, and then like Hagrid comes in. Like your first encounter with Hagrid. And he takes him to go and do his shopping. They're actually on the train before they get to the Leaky Cauldron.
Yes.
And he's sitting there with the cake. You, once again, don't actually see that in the Philosopher's Stone. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's from my understanding at least. Which I find it quite interesting as whose decision or choice was that to take that specifically out of the Australian version as opposed to the American version. You might be able to still find it maybe in deleted scenes. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it just didn't like have the cut. Maybe it was certain copyright laws or like certain licensing of how long the film had to be. I don't really know, but
it's interesting though. I mean, do you know, I remember when I was quite young, we went to the Gold Coast in Queensland, and of course over here in Australia we have three theme parks, one being Warner Brothers Movie World, we've got Dream World, and also
the Whitewater World,
Sea World, and also Wet and Wild, the water park. And when around like 2004, my family went, and with some family friends as well. And 2004 was roughly about the time when Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets came out. And there was an interactive exhibit at Warner Brothers Movie World, along with this giant Scooby-Doo roller coaster. And in the Harry Potter exhibit, from what I can remember, is you first begin, you hop off platform 9 3/4, and then you go into Diagon Alley, and then one child is selected to have a wand and like make something explode, and they do, and it's like, oh my god, you know, how did that happen?
That's cool. I like that.
It was awesome. You eventually, when you're about to finish the ride though, you go into the Forbidden Forest like they do in the film, although no spoilers. There might be a slight spoiler ahead, but just warning you, if you haven't seen the film, the second film, right at the end, Aragog comes out. Aragog.
Don't forget about the pincers. Sorry.
But he comes out of the forest, and it's a giant animatronic spider.
Oh my goodness.
Along with other spiders that come towards you, and it's only until like the spiders are almost at like an arm's length at you, until the Ford Anglia shows up. And of course, I was only a young child. And let's just say I have now arachnophobia. I now have arachnophobia.
So would you say that that's what really started that fear for spiders, was that experience as a child?
Yes.
Interesting. Was it massive? Like on a scale, like in this room, like how big would you say it was? Or like as big as this chair?
Bigger than
it was bigger than the chair. Oh wow.
This was literally like a giant spider.
Wow. I must admit, Harry Potter, like the first one will always hit home for me. I guess you could say that is my favourite one, because that is definitely the movie I have watched the most, and I think we can safely say that we know that by word, like the whole script, we know it. So, but with the second one, it definitely hit differently. It got darker.
Yeah.
And for the longest amount of time, the second one was my least favourite.
Really?
Yes, because of how much it scared me as a child. The basilisk.
Yeah.
Towards the end, and Tom Riddle, like, oh no, I would always stop watching it from that point. Yeah, really scared. I love it now. Absolutely love it now. And I love Professor Lockhart.
Oh my god.
Oh, I love that actor. That character in itself.
Gilderoy Lockhart.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh my god.
I feel like he just made that his own character. Do you know what I mean? Like, that was perfect. Love that.
No, I love you get to, in the second one, that you get to meet Draco's father, and you know see this regal being, and you see actually where Draco gets, you know, all of his like
that is honestly well cast. I mean, throughout the whole thing, everyone is perfectly cast, but that relationship between the two is very like dysfunctional, but very relevant to, I feel like, certain families who'd understand having like a father like that. Do you know what I mean? Not working for the Dark Lord, but just that kind of relationship. Sorry?
And I just love when he just taunts the Weasleys, like, you know, when they're in Borkin and Burke's, and you know, he just, you know, looks at them like, oh, you know, orange hair, hand-me-down robes, you must be a Weasley. And it's just, immediately, it's just struck fear, because, you know, this blonde man, with long blonde hair.
Beautiful long hair.
So, you know, that poses a question, though. I mean, Malfoy with his luscious locks. But you know what? Talking about Harry Potter, how do you reckon you'd find yourself as a student at Hogwarts? Like, just imagine the Sorting Hat has said Ravenclaw, you know, and you're like, oh my god, you know, you go over to the table, and, you know, you sit down, and there's a huddle of Ravenclaw students, and they're all like, hi Shani, you know, we're your mentors and things. You get like the one girl who's like, hi, and then you have one girl like, hey, and she's got like her in a book, like reading. Excited.
I would love the whole experience. I think it's awesome to have classes like Transfiguration, Potions. I can't think of anything else, but just like
Dark Arts, Defense Against the Dark Arts.
Just like all of that, though. Do you know what I mean? I think that is just awesome in itself, and I think that would be, because I definitely didn't enjoy school, or high school for that matter. I didn't like it. There were subjects that were not my strongest. Yeah. And it didn't incite fun for me, but I feel as though at Hogwarts, learning is a part of the fun. Do you know what I mean? Like, it seems like everyone's having a good time except for Umbridge when she came in. No one was having a fun time then. But I don't know. I think, and also just like the actual beautiful castle.
Yeah.
And being, I mean, it'll be scary at night.
Yeah.
The good thing about having Lumos.
Yeah, Lumos.
You know how when you have to turn off the light and then you have to run so the demons don't get you, you always have the Lumos on your wand, so you be alright.
Well, I mean, you're fine. Your common room is in the in the astronomy tower, so you're fine. I mean, you'll just have to climb up many steps to get there, and then when you do get to your common room, you have to answer a certain question. So
Yeah, I do love that. That'd be really cool. But what about you? Like, how would you be? Like, in Slytherin, and isn't yours like underwater or something? Or
ours is in a dungeon.
Oh.
So it's like in a certain. It's like
Underwater?
in the same. Spotify listeners, if you can, unfortunately, if you don't, well, you can hear. Let me explain what our background looks like to you. It's a flame fireplace, which is the fire roaring. That's like the Slytherin common room. There, I can't speak English.
English 101.
Exactly. So yeah, the Slytherin common room would be awesome. But if the Sorting Hat was placed on my head and said Slytherin, and obviously I'd go to the table and there'd be people cheering.
What's that mouthful in it? Sorry.
Oi, bruv, what's up?
Yeah.
No, I think I would love that. Like, I think I would probably be best in defense against the dark arts. Like, I would do anything. I would go ahead and obviously I would love some power. Like, I think that's why I got sorted into Slytherin in the first place, because I love that power and, that ambition. I've got that ambition and drive. And, when cunning needs to come out, I've got that too.
Yeah.
But I think it would just be fun, learning, Expelliarmus or Reducto or even Protego. Protego, yeah. The defense spell.
Yes, definitely.
And then to learn Reducto would be so cool.
Yeah.
Because, what if one of your friends was, getting, with jinxed or hexed, and then you can just be Expelliarmus, and their wand goes flying, and they're like, oh my god. And then you, the best out of all the spells, and you're like, hell yeah.
That would be cool.
I mean, don't get me wrong, being a Slytherin, I'd probably be a little bit of a cheeky minx, to put it lightly. But, I'd probably still be friends in other houses.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm certainly not one to hold bias against a Griffin dork, but if you are a Griffin dork, we might have a bit of a rivalry.
Okay.
If you're a Ravenclaw, we're fine. And if you're a Hufflepuff, maybe you're okay too.
I feel like Hufflepuff just gets such the worst name. I feel like it's Gryffindor, Slytherin, Ravenclaw, and then Hufflepuff. And I feel sorry for them because everyone's like Hufflepuff because they're always puffing, haha. And it's just there are some lovely people in Hufflepuff, and they don't just puff. You know what I'm saying, Mrs. Puff?
What are you?
Don't you know that that's what they say, that they're always getting?
Yeah. I do.
Yeah.
Hufflepuff, more like Hufflenuff. I mean...
Oh my god, we've got some shots fired today.
Ravenclaw, more like Raventhor.
I mean, yeah, if it's as in Thor himself.
No, I mean icicles,
yeah.
You're melting.
Because we're too hot, then yeah. Yeah, just try me.
Wingardium Leviosa your ass, dude. See what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
See what I mean? I would definitely be a troublemaker, so watch out. But I'm proud of that. I'd love to be in the Slytherin... I almost said Slytherin roar, and I was like, you idiot. I'd love to be in the Slytherin common room. You'd have the fire going. You would hear the weird sounds of the Black Lake. But Hogsmeade.
Yes.
In the wintertime, going to Hogsmeade and,
candy shop.
Yes.
Butterbeer.
Yes. Oh, my Lord.
I feel like Harry Potter in itself is just... It literally has created its own culture, if that makes sense.
That's
its
right.
Own, I don't know. It's just so magical. Obviously, it's to do with magic, but the feeling of even thinking about being a part of something like this, it's literally a completely different world.
Well, that's right. I mean, we haven't even dabbled in Quidditch. And, if you were to play Quidditch, would you be a seeker? Would you be
probably like one of the defenders more than anything, just because that's what I do in sport in general is defend. So I'm just used to doing that. Is that, I know you got like the beau-teaa, the seeker.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember for the life of me.
I don't actually genuinely know.
I cannot. But I feel like I would be a seeker because like, man, I haven't played sport in such a long time, IRL, but in real life. But I feel like when I do play sport, I get competitive. Especially when we go for play pool. Yeah. The both of us just ignites a fire and then we're both like hitting each other with pool cues. Not really. Not really. But I think it'd be so fun. I mean, the Griffin dorks would probably be playing pranks. Looking at you, Griffin dorks. I mean, come on. It's a thing that happens. At Hogwarts, you know. You've got the Ravenclaws who are intensely studying. You've got the Hufflepuffs who are just finding things.
You say intensely studying, but I'm not a fan of studying either.
Then you would be more of a creative Ravenclaw.
Herbology. I just...
Plant mother alert.
That is what I would do. I just like even talking about licorice root and all like the healing properties it does. Oh yes, herbology is what I'd be. Yeah, that would be what I'm into. I love that. Oh, but like divination.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
We've opened the waves.
You're gonna suffer, but you're gonna be happy about it. Do you remember that?
It's Professor Trelawney.
Yes, Trelawney.
Yeah. Trelawney, yeah.
Something like
yeah. What are you doing? Whoa.
But what does he say? It's like it's got a bit of a wonky cross, and that's trials and suffering. So you're gonna suffer.
Do you know, I must admit, I've really enjoyed today's episode.
Absolutely.
And, you know, I can't wait to delve into Harry Potter even more.
Yes.
This is not the last time we'll be speaking about Harry Potter. So definitely stay tuned for that. Look, I've actually really enjoyed today's tea. I'm not going to lie.
It is nice. It's nice to try something different apart from the other generic teas. You know, we've had the Jaffalicious. Now we've had something that is completely different, but very flavorful.
I lick the tea. Oh God, that was terrible.
Were you trying to do like a joke with the licorice tea?
Yeah, I was. Wow, if you laughed at that, good on you. But if you didn't, that's fine too. Well, I'm just going to go into my hole now. Goodbye. Wait.
Thank you very much for joining us for our, oh my goodness, our night brew this evening.
Yes.
We will definitely be talking more about Harry Potter in the future on other topics in regards to that. But until then.
Yeah. Please let your inner beauty shine. I'm Libby.
And I'm Shani. And thank you for listening.
Yeah. See you in the next episode.